Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord, Nelson, that is.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is. It is yours truly, the Lord Nelson, that is. That's right, the big guy with the big show on Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network with 5 Royals Entertainment. And ladies and gentlemen, as usual, I've got to do my thing. I have, two members of this great band, special guests always. Because everybody who comes on this show is a special guest. Let's not get it twisted. Let's understand that. Everybody that comes on this show is talented and dope and unbelievable. I don't bullshit. I don't play games. I'm the Lord. That's what that is. But I'd like to read a little something to big them up, if they don't mind me taking the time to do this, just to show love to them, man. So ladies and gentlemen, we are excited to have this band on the show, a band of perseverance that has gone through a few lineup changes that has taken this incredible band in a direction from heavy to heavier to a heavy as hell thrash sound that brings a brutal pleasure to you metal maniacs. Yes, indeed. So every song is driven by a relentless barrage of drums and guitars, complemented with lyrics that speak truth about the environment, but also dives into the darkness without fear. They are definitely a ride you want to be on, to be entertained with. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to Live and Loud with the Lord, Dead Earth, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I got to clap you up. Most definitely. So,
what's happening, Lord Nelson?
Hey, it's your world, man. It's your world, man. So, first question, where are you guys from?
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Born there, still live there, and oh yeah, man, from the rock and roll capital.
Listen. So, Ernesto, what I'm laughing at is that if you see back here, I got my Pittsburgh Steelers caps back there. So don't hold that against me. Don't hold that against me, bro.
No, that's all right. He's not from Cleveland.
Right. No, I know. I'm speaking to Jack though. Yeah.
Yeah. I know all about that. Trust me. I work down in the steel mill, man. That's my day job. So we get a lot of guys from Pittsburgh that work there. There's a ton of Steelers fans, of course. So yeah, we had to deal with the Shane for many years now since we've come back in '99. So yeah.
That's the thing. Well, I just said, just don't hold it against me, man. It's all love. So Ernesto,
it's all good, man. I will say one thing, a couple things. The Steelers have one of the greatest organizations in football,
definitely,
in all of sports, period. And number two, it was Rooney that helped get the Cleveland Browns back here to Cleveland.
Oh, really? No, that's awesome.
Yeah. So we got to kind of give some props, man.
That's a real man talking right there, ladies and gentlemen. So Ernesto, where are you from, young man?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Go Brooklyn! I almost wore my Brooklyn hoodie, man. That would have been awesome, man.
All right,
Brooklyn, New York. Yeah, indeed, no doubt. So, what is the best thing about being from where you're from?
Yeah, both. One of the best things. There's a lot of things I love about Cleveland. Not necessarily the Browns right now, but the thing about Cleveland is that Cleveland's a very diverse city, and I love the diversity. And we always there was always a code on the street, man. Like we all looked out for each other, you know, and it didn't matter who you were, what color you were, man. We just, that's how we rolled, man. We were from Cleveland, and I always love that about the city. And Cleveland takes its lumps. We've got our ass kicked in so many ways, and the butt of many jokes. But Cleveland's a great city to live in, and we don't mind being the butt of the jokes because we love it here, and sometimes it turns bad people away. So we just hang out, continue to be the joke. But Cleveland's cool, man. And plus the rock and roll capital of the world. So that's definitely cool. And plus a lot of museums, all kinds of shit. The food here is great.
Yeah.
I could go on, but and the metal scene here is really good too.
Okay, indeed. Ernesto, what's up with Brooklyn, man? What's good about Brooklyn, man?
I'm sorry, but it was hard to hear.
No, I said, Ernesto, what's up with Brooklyn, man? What's great about being from Brooklyn, man?
Great about being in Brooklyn? Well, I'm from Sunset Park, so that's like 25 minutes from Coney Island. So yeah, I can tell you about Nathan's hot dogs, Gino's pizza, and hardcore music. That's about it. Like for me.
You said Sunset Park. I was thinking about the movie. The basketball. Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Jack and Ernesto. Excuse me. So, Jack, what is your position in the band, sir?
I'm the singer in the band.
Okay.
And write the lyrics. So.
You play any instruments at all, sir?
I know how to play guitar a little bit. I play guitar halfway decent after I take my medicine. So other than that, I just sing.
You're the front man, and I get that. Ernesto, what about you, young man?
Oh, I'm rhythm guitar.
Yes, indeed.
Basically, and I used to do backup vocals in my other band, but in this band, just into the song, into riffing, and that's about it.
Ernesto writes, pretty much all the riffs in the band.
Okay.
All the music and stuff. He's the riff master here.
The riff master. Awesome. So you spoke about it a little bit earlier. So the music scene in Cleveland, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So what is that really like there, man? What is it really like?
Cleveland gets passed over on a lot of tours the last few years. And so when a lot of these big tours pass over Cleveland, because they either go to Columbus or Pittsburgh or Detroit.
Right.
These other cities kind of outbid, Cleveland, and used to be where Cleveland used to get every single tour that came through.
Right.
But now we have it. So does it suck? Yeah. But at the same time, it also has helped a lot of the bands that, were the underground here to rise above, because, when there's concerts or bands playing, people are going to check out the local acts. And we just we've got a band called Midnight that's out there now, Nunslaughter. There's 200 stab wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a ton of bands like getting out of Cleveland, and the scene was always cool, man. Chimera, is from here. Integrity, Ringworm. I could go on and on. There's a ton of good metal bands and stuff from here. And so yeah, it's a pretty cool scene. The weird thing about Cleveland though is you can have 5 different scenes for metal. Okay. You have your hardcore scene, then you got your death metal scene, then you got this scene and that scene, and it's like the object is to get them all together. So when we book shows, it's not uncommon to see a hardcore band playing with a death metal band, playing with even a black metal band or what have you, and so yeah, you have that. The scene is actually pretty cool here, the metal scene. So
awesome. Well, let me ask you this: Do you know Chris Aiken?
Chris, yes.
So that's what
Chris Aiken. Yes, I do. There was a radio show a long time ago that Chris was on. Yeah.
Really? So that's I'm on his platform. So the CMS Network. Yeah, I'm on his platform. That's my guy, man. And so I should have had him on here also, but I think he was doing some other shows, man. But Chris is my guy, so he's knowledgeable. I said I had to ask you. You said Cleveland. I said he's got to know Chris. Everybody knows Chris.
Of course I do. Hey, Chris, the band I was in a long time ago, Ent, we used to go on his show quite often.
Yeah.
Great guy, man.
Yes, he is, man. Yes, he is. But I'm glad he brought me to this.
We definitely miss him here in Cleveland.
He's still around, though. He's still around.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, I think he may have. Did he go to Chicago?
Nah, Chris is still in Cleveland, I believe. I don't think he left Cleveland. Yeah. He's still.
Because I could have swore he moved. Yeah.
He might have back then. It's possible. It's possible. But I know that, when I was with Stuck Mojo, we did a show in Cleveland. I remember Chris coming there because when I was, because I had a conversation with him, I had him on the show. And I looked at Chris and I said, Chris, did I meet you in Cleveland? And he said, yes, you met me in Cleveland at the show. He was at the show and we had a good, we talked and we chopped it up, but it had been years ago. But nah, man, it's all love. He's a great guy, man. Chris is a great guy. I love Chris, man. Chris. So let me ask you this. So in your bio, you speak about a wake-up call after seeing all the trash on the side of the road. Can you speak more about this inspiring moment?
Yeah, it was, I was driving home from work and, it's like around this time of year, this after we had a major snowstorm and so things were melting and you just seen, I seen all this trash on the side of the road and I was like, man, this really bums me out, man, because, this is what we're doing to the earth, man. And we live here, and so yeah. I mean, when I was driving home, and I seen that, it was like inspiring to me to, because I was trying to figure out the name of the band, and that was always the hardest thing is figuring out the name of the band. What are we gonna name it?
Right.
So I seen that, and I was like, wow, this is like that earth, man. And it was just a wake up call, man. Like, it drives me nuts when you see somebody throw trash out of their car or something.
No doubt. Speaking about that, when you said that, I was just like, well, that inspired you. So I was just like, man, I wanted to know about that. And listen, when I ask these questions, I really want to know. I mean, I'm very interested. I'm just not asking questions. I went, as I'm listening to your music, I'm writing up my stuff as I'm listening and paying attention and reading. I just want to do me and what I feel and what how the music is taking me to who you guys are and how I feel about it. So, just respect to you. Indeed.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So please educate me on the zombie horror genre. What movies are a must see and how do these movies add substance and content to you guys' music, man?
Now listen, this is where we with the horror movie thing. So my wife and I were talking the other day about this. And when you look at, I'm not a big fan of CGI.
Okay.
I love the old school horror.
Okay.
What do you call it? Evil Dead, The Exorcist, Dawn of the Dead, The Howling, American Werewolf in London, when you look at the makeup in those movies, and you see how it was such an art form.
Definitely.
To create that creature and have it be as real as possible. And then, form it on a human, a real person.
Right.
And, CGI is CGI, but back then that was an art, man. And that was an art form.
No doubt.
So, The Thing, I'm into old school horror movies. So, I love the old monster movies all the way up, from Frankenstein and the Mummy and all that to Hammer. But as far as the new stuff goes, I really, I like the Rob Zombie stuff, but I don't know, Ernesto, what you got, man?
What?
With the movies.
What?
Man,
I was tripping.
I just like old stuff. Like I'm not even into the new stuff right now. Like reboots and stuff like that. Yeah, they're just ruining movies nowadays. So yeah, just stick to classics like Exorcist, Halloween. I was like any trauma movie.
So you right, right. You guys right there together. Yeah, okay.
Not trauma. Like Toxic Avengers, stuff like that.
Some of their movies were just so bad. They were cheesy, but you couldn't help but watch them.
They were entertaining, though.
No doubt.
Whole bunch of kids from Jersey.
So reading each of your bios, I can tell you all have a definite passion for music and the instrument that you play. Ernesto playing guitar. So what is it about your instrument, Ernesto, that talks to you like no other?
Well, come again? What?
So what is it about playing guitar that talks to you like nothing else? What is it about guitar that has you so passionate about it?
Well, I was self-taught, basically, but I was when I was raising up in Puerto Rico, like my grandfather and my uncle, they both play guitar like acoustically.
Right.
So they used to play like in trios, that old like Puerto Rican
I got you. Yes,
acoustic music, yeah. So every time they got drunk, they would get like stupid drunk and they would start grabbing the guitars and playing, and I would just sit there and watch them play. Yeah. And then they only taught me to do a power chord. You put one finger here, one here. All I had was the interest, and back then I was really into like I think Arise from Sepultura came out.
Okay.
Back then it was Headbangers Ball. It was all the time. Like I would wait that Saturday just to watch Headbangers Ball. So I would record everything on VHS and have it, and then I would just like pause and see like how they place their fingers. So that's how I started like playing guitar, and then everything was just one finger, and then afterwards I started picking up. So I always had ideas that like how I should make a song, but I could never attempt to do it because I didn't know how to start to composing a song. So and years later, after I played with bands and like hometown bands in Puerto Rico, and then after I did my first record, then I was like, okay, I'm guessing like I'm more into writing. But back then, it was me. I don't know if you know Hosien from Fit for an Autopsy.
I'm not sure. Not.
You never heard of that band? So he's from Puerto Rico too. So we got together. We did this 5-song EP, and then I was like, okay, that was in 2004. Okay. Then I didn't write a song since. And when I joined Marauder back in 2010 in New York till 2015, after I did all this traveling and stuff like that, they didn't want to write new music. So I started like getting ideas, and I just started like storing music. Like I had riffs like crazy, like stored in different phones, like.
Right.
And then when I met Jack, I was like, he offered me the opportunity to write music. I was like, man, this is my chance now. So I just started like doing all that stuff, the drum machine, like the little phone app.
Of course.
Started doing the drums, recorded everything, and And I was like this. I love playing guitar, you know.
Love playing guitar.
Any type of genre, you know, like acoustically or even Chinese and funk, it don't matter. Like music, you know, as long as there's a guitar and a bass, that's what, you know,
with it. Yeah.
like drives my soul. So yeah, I ended up doing what you heard, you know, like all them songs. Yeah, that was me in a room.
Wow.
Basically, that's how I ended up composing everything.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. So you do most of the production as far as when it comes to the music part. Is that
I'm sorry?
So the production part is the music. That's mostly you? Are you the one that
well, in the writing process, it was me. Right. I already had all the songs, so I sent them to Jack. He listened to them because I had it for another band. So then I had to, you know, tweak it up a little bit, you know, make it more updated, and then more ideas started growing. So I just kept recording. So once we had all these scratch demos, we sent them to Current. So basically, the only thing that Current did was the leads on the song. He's an incredible lead guitar player. So yeah, so he worked on those, and the rest of the music, it was just from the know-how.
Man, awesome, man. Awesome. That's that vibe, man. There's an organic coming out. Hey, listen, that's love. That's love. So Jack, as a front man, come on, man. When did you know? When did you know that I'm that guy, man? You know, this is me. This is what I want to do.
Well, you know, it was funny because when I was playing in bands when I first started, you know, as a musician, just messing around playing with other musicians. Right. I was a guitar player, and so I really didn't know how to play any leads and stuff like that, but I could write riffs all day long. And so one day we were the band I was in at the time. We needed a singer, and one of the guys says, "Hey Jack, go up there and just yell in the mic. Let's try it," you know. And I started yelling into the mic, and they were like, "Wow, that sounded pretty cool. Let's do it again." And then that was it. I was like, I had to put the guitar down because I couldn't play and sing at the same time.
Right.
So that's kind of how that started, and you know. It's funny because my influences range from like a lot of Motown. I love Motown, huge fan of Motown, and it ranges from Motown, the Beatles, the Stones, all the way up to Napalm Death and Immortal. So
you're all that, man. I love that though. I love the fact that I always tell people, man, you know, I'm not a genre snob. Yeah, I'm a military kid, so I grew up listening to everything. You know, I've known people from every walk of life, man, and I've listened to everything. So I appreciate just music. So that kind of leads me into my next question. So in the band that I'm in now, Plastic Catastrophe with Lord Nelson, we have a new single out called My Crazy. So music is my crazy, meaning anything in life that you are beyond just passionate about. So do you guys have another crazy other than music? Is there anything else that you guys love? It may be fishing. I like to go fishing also. Is there anything else you guys love to do?
Go ahead.
Well, you know, one of the things I love to do is I got like the most beautiful woman in the whole cosmos.
Look at him, big up. Yeah.
Her and I, we get in the car and we go cruise. And that's when I'll jam we'll jam like the 50s or like, you know, some Motown and stuff, you know, and that's what I do. We groove, you know, and the shit, sometimes we'll sit here and turn on 70s disco, man, and get down with the funk, you know, that's how it rolls.
This dude right here, man. I love that, man. Listen, that's a great answer because I'm right with you, man.
I just cook.
You cook?
Yeah,
you're a chef.
Oh, this dude's he's a great chef, man.
I'm the chef here in the house.
So we got to put you on Food Network or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I do. Seafood, Puerto Rican cuisine, whatever. Yeah. When summer hits, I'm just basically in the kitchen, just doing stuff.
It's funny because Ernesto's been staying with us for a little bit, and when we get this record and stuff done, and he's been a guest at my house for a bit, man, which is cool with me, So he's like, in the summertime, we cook up all kinds of shit, and we're constantly outside barbecuing.
Right.
So he preps this stuff, and then we cook it. But man, it's funny because he's Puerto Rican, I'm half Italian, and man, we get some cooking going on in this house, man, with the with the Puerto Rican food and the Italian food. So it's pretty cool, man.
Well, listen, both great cuisines, no doubt. There's a Puerto Rican restaurant right up not far from me. And I took my wife and my kids up there, my grandson, we went up in there, we had a ball up in there, man. Just great food, man. Just great food. So that's awesome, man. So, okay, so speak to me, please, about the genesis of the band and how you arrived at this point where you are right now in your lives to be able to play with your super talented bandmates.
Well, you want me to tell the story?
I know you had some lineup changes. That's why I'm asking you. Yeah. How did you get to this point?
Yeah. This is what happened. So when I first put this band together back in 2017, the idea I had back then was to kind of bring back, where the riff matters, like the classic riffs you would hear, like, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath type stuff. But I always have been in like hardcore bands or, metal bands, thrash metal bands and stuff. So I was going to try, I was just trying something different. And the lineup I had on that CD, we had a couple guys that were doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing, and they got kicked out of the band. So the band, that lineup changed, and then COVID hit in 2020, and that put a damper on a lot of stuff, and so we lost a couple members after COVID.
Right.
And so I just had to put it back together again. So in 2021, the lineup changed, and we released an EP, and that EP was it was a good foundation of what's coming now. I wanted to get heavier. I wanted to go back to that heavier sound. And the guys that were in the band at the time, they were good, and they were heavy, but it was still missing something.
Okay.
And so Ernesto and I actually, we met a long time ago when my old band played a show with Marauder.
Okay.
And so through a mutual friend of ours, he got a hold of Ernesto, he got a hold of me, he said, hey, I want to put together this little project, let's see what happens. Okay, no problem. So I went over to this kid's house, and he was off. We're we allowed to swear out here?
You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Now we're talking. So this dude's all fucked up, man, and he's over there. What the fuck was he doing? He was smoking weed.
And probably, you're talking about that dude? Yeah, one that left me hanging.
The fuck guy, that dude.
That fucking guy. He was tweaking. I think he was doing meth or some shit like that, mixed with weed. And long story short, I went to check out Dead Earth. And as soon as I went over there, I received a text. I was supposed to do a side project with him, and I flew from Philly all the way down here. So it was just a week. And then the second day that I was there, I went to check these guys out, and then I received a text going like, "Oh, stay with Jack. Like, I got stuff to do. Like, don't come here." Left my bag and everything. So I got stranded here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And that's how we basically met. Before that, we met in 2012, was it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Summer of Hate. Yeah. Done in fucking
at the Foundry, I think it was.
Yeah. So, anyways.
Bullshit. It's Peabody. Now we're cursing. Now, yeah.
So, anyways, I it was like a long time, and I only met Ernesto one time, So this dude kind of he fucked him, and so I was like, hold on a minute, man, So I called my wife. I talked to my wife. She's like, yeah, man, it's cool, So he ended up staying at my house for a whole week.
Right.
And what do you call it? Man, we just started just jamming stuff on acoustics and so that's kind of how the friendship started.
Yeah.
So we promised that, we would write some shit sometime, and we'd get together soon. But he went back to Pennsylvania, and I still had the lineup from All Hail the Dark,
right?
In Denver. So December of 2021, I had signed with a deal with a management company, and I actually signed a deal with them in June of that year, 2021.
Okay.
And so when I signed with this management company, I was hoping to get this thing, shopped around. I was hoping to try to get the band, picked up by a label, and I was doing everything I could to, try to get to that next level.
Yes, indeed.
And so in December of 2021, that whole lineup quit.
Wow.
They left me holding the bag. So, I told myself, and this too, where I love the shit out of my wife, man, is my wife was like, I've never seen you quit at anything. And I ain't going to quit now. Just build it up again, And I said, yep, we'll build it up again, So I called Ernesto, and I said, Ernesto, I go, you want to play in Denver? I go, everybody quit on me. He's like, sure. So I was like, cool. So he started, I go, send me over what you got, man. And we'll try, let's start arranging some stuff. So I had a buddy of mine who plays bass in a couple other bands, and a drummer, and they were originally going to jump on board, but then they didn't have time to really devote to the Dead Earth thing. So I told Ernesto, I said, listen, man, I'll fly you in and let's demo the music and let's see what happens, So he came over to he flies into Cleveland, and it was cold as hell. And we just, started. First of all, we tried recording the shit on an interface. Okay. Now, mind you, I don't know shit about recording. I'm not an engineer or nothing like that, Right. So for the first few days, me and this guy are sitting there reading, watching tutorials on how to just get the damn signal in, So, like, we're old school, man. Give us a fucking boombox, man, and hit record and play, bro, and then we're good. So anyways, I was like, listen, man, I go, we're going to figure this shit out one way or another. And then we figured it out. And it was like, like the skies opened and everything. And it was like, we figured it out. We know how to get signal in, and then we're here to come out. We're okay. So we started recording, some of the demos, and I was just, recording vocals, and Ernesto had this little drum app on his phone, and he played the drums on his phone, and we put it through the interface. So there's this management company that I was telling you about, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to stick with you. And if you, get us some get us what you got, and we'll take it from there. And, okay, right. No problem. Well, I'm continuously paying this management company while all this is happening, and I'm getting all these promises,
Yeah.
So we took what we had, and I said, let's go to Curran Murphy and see what he can do with this, and see if maybe we can, clean him up a bit and get him off to this management company. So we take him to Curran, and Curran's like, he pops it in, and he's like, yeah, we're just recording the whole damn thing, again. He goes, but I get the idea, so so we started recording the ideas, and Curran was like right away just started chiming in, and he was like, yeah, that sounds really good, and I was just sitting on the couch. This is at Curran's studio.
Mm-hmm.
I go, dude, why don't you just join the band? And he goes, yeah, I will. He goes, yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine. So I'm like, okay, cool, man. I'm like, okay, so now I have me and two guitar players, two killer guitar players, by the way. So we finished recording these demos, and a couple weeks later, we're getting band pictures taken. Okay. Now, mind you, it's freezing cold outside here in Cleveland in the middle of March. And so Curran's like, hey, I'm going to bring my buddy Dan Gates. And Dan's a musician too, hell of a guitar player, killer guitar player, awesome bass player. So Dan shows up, and he took the pictures in the band as the bass player, and I didn't even see the guy play,
Right.
So from that day forward, though, Dan Gates became our bass player because of how cool he was, and so
got it on his coolness. I love it.
Yeah, so Dan joins the band. Then a couple weeks later, Curran was like, hey, listen, I'm going to start auditioning drummers, because he has another band too. Curran does.
Yes.
And so he finds a 19-year-old kid who plays the hell out of the drums, and digs the stuff we're doing, and so Curran said he was the best out of everybody. He's amazing, and I think he would fit well with Dead Earth. So then we were a complete band. Now, mind you, we're a complete band, but we never played anything yet. Like everything we have is just what we recorded, that demo, So then we booked a show for last August. And when we all got together and started playing the songs, then you heard the sound, and it was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You feel that, the frequencies are all rolling in the right direction, and it was just badass, man. And then we had Dead Earth, and so
awesome.
That's where we're at today.
Hey, listen, like I always say, man, everybody has a story. Each one of us has a story, man. So I like to hear those kind of things because I'm such a visual person. I'm picturing everything as you're telling me. It's just it's in my face. I'm looking at it like this, like, wow, okay. Seeing you. Anyway, man, it's love, man. It's just who I am. So this question right here is kind of still within line with this. As I spoke in the intro, you've had a few lineup changes. What do you think is the biggest reason that so many bands go through this? Because all of them do. Is it just different personalities of people, or it's just a difficult thing? What do you think in your professional opinion?
Answer that.
What was it?
One more time, Lord Nelson.
Yeah, I can barely hear. I'm kind of deaf.
So I'm just.
We're a couple of deaf guys.
No. It's all love. So why do you think so many, bands have players that are in and out, and you lose so many, of the musicians? Is it just like not focused enough, or is it just like different personalities? In your opinion, why do you think that so many bands split up, or what is it?
Well, I know that in our with the lineup changes in Dead Earth, a lot of it came down to some of the band members having to have their ego checked. And, commitment, it's like when you get into like, okay, I want to get into, I want to get a management company. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you want to take it to the next level. That's when the commitment issues come in. That's when it's like, okay, either you want to play rock star, you should or get off the pot,
right?
And it's, when guys look at it in that perspective, then they're like, I'm not really committed, and they just quit, and that was kind of what happened here.
I believe that most people probably don't. Most people want to stay local, just be like the local hero. Yeah, I'm famous in my hometown, whatever, but never want to, put their part, like pay their dues, like, okay, let's go to this city, let's do a 2-week run or whatever,
right.
Let's go to Mexico, probably will starve. Yeah. But still, you're getting your point across, you're getting your music across. And not too many people are, ready to put their blood, sweat, and tears, on music. That's how I see it. Most people won't commit. They're afraid. They'll be like, oh, I'm going to start. Oh, I'm going to be sweaty. I won't be able to take a shower, whatever. Dude, like, you got to pay your dues somehow. Yeah. It's not going to come easy. It's not like MTV is going to pick you up and you're going to be the overnight sensation. Right, you got to build your brand and, and go out there.
And it's like the AC/DC song.
It's like Jehovah's Witness.
It's like AC/DC song.
You got to go door to door and get that message across.
No, but that's real, though. That's real. You have to, just like Jehovah's Witness, you have to be committed to what you believe in. And
most doors are going to close in your face.
That's right.
Because it's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. It's probably like Jehovah's Witness. They're going to be like, hey, bah! They're going to lock the door in your face. Hey, guess what? You got to keep going. Somebody's going to listen to you. In one way or another,
I thank you guys for really answering that honestly. And that's what I wanted to know, because, just talking to so many people, it's like, and even me, I came into Stuck Mojo after Bones left. They had something else going on, and then it was me. And then, I left, and then another guy came in. But it's like certain things happen. And it's just like I wanted to ask that question because you saying the word commitment, and that is such a true thing. I don't think people understand the commitment that it takes to do what we do and love what we do and have that passion for it. And because everybody's not built for this. Everybody's not built for it. There's different levels to it. You may be on a different level than what I'm on, because you guys are really still out there doing it. My man and I, right now, we're doing, computer-based or whatever, because he's in Texas and I'm in South Carolina. So it's a difference, but we know we still have what we're doing. We know what we're working toward. But yes. And then Ernesto, you said something about some people just want to be the local hero. I know some very, I'm not going to call his name out, but he's one guy, he's just a keyboard player, and he is amazing. He was so talented way back when, and I just used to look at him, and every time I would say, hey, man, well, I want to even pay you for this. Then he'd disappear on me. I'm just like, what are we doing? But then if we were just working on music for fun, he was good with it. Until it was just like, hey, we might be able to do this right here. Then it was like, he got a ghost on me like crazy. I was just like, that's crazy to me, man.
Yeah, most people, once they feel in their comfort zone, being local. Like once they go out there, they're probably afraid.
Right.
Or, like I said, there's commitment and perseverance is the other one. How you gonna, how long you're gonna keep, trying to keep up your work till you get noticed. You just gotta keep going. You gotta persevere, in your craft. So not too many people. Okay, if I got this handful of people that like me, so I'll just stay right here because I'm always gonna get this, the same quantity of people. But once if they want to go outside, the state or the city, they probably have different thoughts. They'd be like, oh, what if they don't like me? Right. Well, guess what? Sometimes you're gonna go to shows and nobody's gonna like you. You're gonna get food or whatever, but it's not gonna be all the time unless you're like Spinal Tap or some Corey Feldman. The Kodak King. Being like Corey Feldman, he's making more money than anybody right now. I just Instagram.
How the hell does that happen?
My dude making bread like crazy. And
he rides around on it. Is he on like that hoverboard or some shit? That
Dude, I saw the video of the Michael Jackson like drip like right here.
Yes, I saw the picture. Yes, indeed.
And my dude got to like 1 million views already. I was like,
oh my goodness, man.
Motherfuckers like us are sitting there watching it.
Exactly.
Is this for real, man? What the fuck?
And
Corey Feldman.
Like crazy. I just can't stop watching them though.
Yeah, because I know a lot of guys even here, Rad, my boy Raz and Artie Joyner and Host Galaxy and Star Dog and all these bands that are here that I know that have been doing it forever and they love it and they still gig and they still do it, but not everybody has the opportunity. It's not presented to them, and this is a difficult thing. Because there's millions of people out here trying to do the same thing. And what is it about you that separates you from everybody else? So, you just got to keep pushing and doing what you do, man. Hey, but great segment. I love that. That was amazing. So I come from a family where music of all genres was always played in our house. So, Ernesto, I know you said it. You come from a musical family, because you're so, Jack, same thing with you, young man?
Yeah. Do
you come from a musical family?
You want to know like some of the stuff that we listen to like in the house and stuff?
Yeah, I'm talking about like growing up. Yeah, what were you listening to?
Well, when I was growing up, my mom and dad were both music lovers. And so they listened to a lot of, like I said, Motown, Rolling Stones, the Beatles. Yeah. And to be honest with you, they listen to a lot of funk too. So my mom and dad were pretty groovy, man. Like they would, they would be cutting the rug and just getting down in funk,
I love it.
Man,
my parents too. Yes.
So I would listen to that, and that's what actually helped with my rhythm, learning rhythm and stuff like that. And plus, I used to play the shit out of the Sly and the Family Stone Greatest Hits. So, yeah, so, I been getting down with Sly, man, when I was 5. And anyways, so then, it was funny because my aunt and uncle, my aunt's 6 years older than me and my uncle is 4 years older than me. Okay. And my uncle, he's like, look, man, he showed me the Kiss album, Kiss Alive 1.
Right.
And we put that thing on, and that was it. I was hooked. So Kiss. Sorry about the dog, man.
You good, man.
Kiss was my first introduction to like real heavy, the heavier side of music.
Gotcha.
So I listened to Kiss, but I still love my Motown, Jackson 5,
right?
Stuff like that, Temptations. But as time progressed, started with Kiss, then Black Sabbath, and then as time went on, then came Iron Maiden, then Judas Priest, then into the thrash metal era, Metallica, Slayer, Venom, shit like that, and so that's what I grew up on, and to this day, man, I still listen to a lot of the 60s, 70s classic rock and especially like I said, the Motown and stuff like that, because you know why? Because they had a message.
Right.
They had something to say.
Yes, sir.
And that's why I loved listening to Motown. I still love listening to them today.
Got you, man.
The world needs Berry Gordy now more than ever before.
Yeah, it's a great thing to know that you guys have been cultured like that, man. To see other cultures and be immersed in other cultures is a great thing, man. It is a great thing. I think more people need to do that, most definitely. You know, I look forward to it. It's exciting to me. You know, it really is. Okay, so we kind of talked about it a little bit, but let's get into the music. Okay, so we're gonna go back to 2018, the first EP, Pollution. So when you listen to it now, how important do you feel it is to your successful musical journey stand out? I mean, excuse me, your musical journey right now?
You know, it's funny because when I listen to like what we recorded in 2018, you know, all the way up to now, in 2018, you know, this was such a huge jump from that first album.
Okay.
You know, but as it progressed, it also helped me because playing with musicians that, you know, I'm not bagging on the other guys. They were good musicians,
of course not.
You know,
yeah.
But these guys are far more, far better musicians and much higher caliber. And plus they played on professional stages and
Right.
touring bands.
Right.
So it made me have to up my game and to make sure, you know, because to be honest with you, Fear No One, Ernesto sent me that song,
okay,
you know, off his phone, like months before we were going to record my vocals for the demo. And that song, I just couldn't wrap my fucking head around it. You know what I mean? It was a different way of writing for me. Okay. You know, when you get into like the first album, it was just simple. You know, it was simple riffs. It was nowhere near as I don't want to say it's technical, but there's a whole different element, you know? So, you know, I had to really work on it, and I didn't get the lyrics down for that song. I started writing them down 5 minutes before I had to leave to go to the studio to record that song with lyrics I didn't have yet. So I just said, you know what? My wife made mention about something, and Fear No One came into my head, and I was like, Fear No One, fuck everybody, you know. I was just in a mood, you know. And so, you know, but I was writing about Fear No One is don't let anybody enslave your mind, you know what I mean, and hold you hostage, you know. Indeed. So that's what Fear No One is about. I just started writing lyrics, and then they just came to me, and then went to Curran's studio, and he helped, you know, with some, you know, filling up some words and stuff. But yeah, it was funny. I mean, I really had to work on that, and that's the thing. It's like, but we're keeping it simple.
No, I got you, man.
That's one thing I learned from all of like listening to old Motown and old classic rock and all that stuff, is keeping it simple. It is simple, man. And when people can sit and sing a song with you, is when we played Fear No One down in Puerto Rico, nobody ever heard that song before. And then that night, when we started playing it after going through the you know, the verse and the chorus once, everybody was singing the fucking song at the end of, you know, by the end of the song. And it was like, and that's just keeping it simple, man, you know?
Simple and catchy.
Yeah, simple and catchy.
Yeah, man, no doubt.
That's the hook.
That's what takes it to the other level, man, no doubt. So I'm gonna let you know that on that, Rats and Voodoo Queen, man, I enjoyed them jokers so much, man. I was just like, yo, I was like, yes, indeed. I just want to let you know I enjoyed both of those, most definitely. I enjoyed all of it, but those ones were really speaking to me. I was just like, yo, just listening and saying like, yeah, man, indeed. So the 2019 Truth Hammer, that's a short time in between, as you were saying, you know, coming to that, and not a lot of time in between in Pollution. So do you feel you had grown any since the release of Pollution? Not all the way to 2021, but even to there, did you feel like you had grown? Because that was a full album, which you added all the, you know, the other songs from the EP on that one too. But had you grown by then, or you just like, oh man, I'm in a different place right now?
Yeah, after Truth Hammer, you know, came out, and, you know, I, you know, I, 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 and a few months after Truth Hammer came out, we had a different. We had a guitar player.
Right, I read
one.
It, yeah. Mm-hmm.
One got kicked out by the whole band, and
right.
another one joined.
Yeah.
And so there was that just the change in the sound and the guitar player and his style changed the dynamics of the band from the Truth Hammer album,
right,
now veering into the All Hail the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that guitar player actually started swaying the band into that path, and I like that because the heavier stuff is what I've always been used to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I've always played in heavy bands, and so I enjoyed the change, and it kind of got my chops going a little bit more than Truth Hammer was. Truth Hammer was, like I said, it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you start throwing, a different mix into the game, it's a whole different way of writing, So with each guitar player or each change, I had to, change too.
Yeah.
And so that helped me be a better singer and writer. Definitely.
It speaks to your talent, because we as vocalists, that's what we have to do. You have to be able to ride that rhythm, that music, that, what Ernesto and the guys are playing. You got to be able to take that and feel that when you're writing what you're writing, because even if say you write something and then they have the music and you put it with it, you still got to put it to how that is going. Indeed, you have to ride the music. I tell people all the time, you got to be able to ride that music, man. That makes great music like that, man.
Yeah.
So All Hail the Dark 2021. So this title screams, we're about to get into some deep craziness. So when I was listening to it, I was just like, once again, I was like, Jack is a wild dude, man, but it's all love. So tell us about, the recording of this EP and what message you wanted the listeners to get from
it. When we recorded All Hail the Dark, it was right after 2020. It was right after COVID.
Right.
And so, Tyrants, when I wrote the lyrics for that song, I wrote it about the people who were still working during that whole COVID thing.
Right.
And how nasty human beings can be to other human beings, especially those that worked in the service industry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like at stores and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, it made me feel like we're just a number, and that's all we are to the corporate America. We're just numbers, we're all the same, and it doesn't matter, and that's how I felt. And that's how a lot of people I know felt. And it was just like, I just feel used in a number. And so I wrote Tyrants, and that's where that came from. And I look at a lot of things I see in the world, and it's like, man, the problem is there's no empathy. People have lost that, and that's sad, and so I write about it.
Yeah. It's cool to have when I have guests, when I have people of you guys' caliber speak about things that just talks to me and touches me, because I'm big on that, about empathy and about caring. Because I have a lot of people, I know they're just like, why would you care about something like that? I said, how can you not care about something like that? And I don't understand it. They're looking at me like I'm the weirdo. Yeah. And I'm looking at them like, no, you're the weirdo. I mean, goodness, you saw what happened to that individual.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care nothing about it. It didn't have anything to do with me. So,
right.
It kind of put me, I don't let people kind of move me to do things. But what I started doing is I just started saying, once again, is that I don't like people as much as I thought I loved people. I thought I loved everybody, and I do. But it's like, man, you really got, the world's not my Lord Nelson quote. The world is not crazy. It's the people in it. And I believe that so much, man. I'm just like, you just got to look around sometimes like, hey, you got to be careful, man. You really do, because A lot of people out there really don't have your best interests at heart. They really don't. So, just makes you pull back a little bit. Yeah. So, well, let me say this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm interested in you saying you were always drawn to the darker side of spirituality. Now, I have never in my lifetime heard it expressed like that before. I never have. I'm just being honest. So it just makes me think of Star Wars and the power of the dark side. Because when I watch Star Wars, I do like the dark side. I do like Darth Vader. I call myself the Sith Lord. I do like Darth Vader. I like Palpatine. I like I like the dark side. I really do. So can you educate me a little on your dark side spirituality?
Sure. Well, my wife and I both practice witchcraft,
right?
And we'll go back a little bit. I grew up Roman Catholic. Okay, I respect the hell out of Jesus. I'm not gonna lie, and Mary, and but I needed something a little bit more on a spiritual side of things, okay. And when I was in high school, I took a theology class, and I started learning about the occult in that class. As a matter of fact, we were out with a nun that gave me a book on witchcraft because she said, "You're very drawn to this,"
Right.
And the great thing about that theology class was that you learned about other religions, and it wasn't just like one-sided. You right. Learn the respect and what each religion was about. And so, when it comes to spirituality and witchcraft takes an ass beating all the time, because of the Hollywood shit, and any witch that's is evil and all that stuff, and that's far from it, because we work with what you put out with your energy is what you're going to get back at you.
Right.
And if I'm nice to somebody, then I hope they're nice to me, However, you, like you said, you guard yourself. You always have to watch, man. And that's the thing, is like witchcraft and stuff like that, you're working with energy. Okay. And, there's meditation involved, things of that nature, but you're working on yourself constantly. You're working on your mind, your body, your soul.
Right.
And, you try to be a better person today than you were yesterday, and that's what witchcraft is. You're basically putting that into motion.
Evolving yourself.
Yeah. You're putting it into you're putting that energy into motion. I guess that's the best way to put it. And it's kind of like when we talk about music. To me, music is frequencies. We're the frequency makers, man.
Right.
And the reason why we're all fucked up is because we're the frequency makers. We're the guys that make the music, and put that energy out there. And so I mean, like I said, witchcraft. You have people that are into some real dark shit, and it's all in what you manifest and what you put out, into the world. So yeah, it's witchcraft. Everybody gives it a bad rap, but it's not bad at all. I mean, shit, I read about voodoo. I'm not afraid to step outside the box and read about different different religions and different spirituality, or ways to be spiritual. And so it's pretty cool waking up in the morning and just not giving a fuck. So many words.
Well, listen, I asked that question, and that was I thank you for being honest about it, man, because I don't think that anybody's ever explained it in that sense, in that way, because that is totally different from what we know or what we've been taught. So That's hey, I appreciate that, man. No doubt, no doubt. Gentlemen, I just want to say listening to your music is like an extended drag race to me, man. It's from start to finish. Your foot is on that gas and you're taking us on one hell of a ride. And it's just awesomeness. And so you got great music, great to the point lyrics and great musicians equals a great motherfucking band. So I thank you guys very, very much for, what you're doing. And
thank you very much, my brother.
Spending some time with me, man. I really, really appreciate it. So if you don't mind, please give my watchers and listeners your contact and social media info.
So our web address is www.deadearth216.com.
Okay.
And then the Facebook page is Dead Earth Cleveland. What is it? Facebook.com.
Yeah.
Okay. We're also on Instagram, Spotify. What else?
The YouTube channel.
Right.
So
it's all the same. Yeah, Dead Earth.
We had some pretty funny little videos that we made, and the video is called "Hanging with These Nuts." And so we would do interviews, and they were pretty good interviews. It was pretty funny.
Indeed. Well, gentlemen, all I know is once again, thank you very, very much. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm appreciative for you taking the time. And
thank you very much.
I'll get to see you guys soon out there performing and doing your thing, man. I'm looking forward to it. Yes,
oh yeah, man. Hopefully we'll meet you in the future, man, sometime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah.
All right. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, you know who it is. It's the big guy with the big show, the Lord Nelson, that is, from the podcast Live and Loud with the Lord on the CMS Network with 5 Royals Entertainment and who? The great. Is there anything else you guys want to say before I finish? Is there anything else you guys want to say?
No, man, peace. We'll see you around. We'll be around soon, man.
The great band Dead Earth, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys so much. So you guys be good, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, bro.
All right.
Turn it up. You're listening to Live and Loud with the Lord Nelson, that is.